So at what point was it that you finally knew you needed help, and how did you get that help?
Well, I moved to Las Vegas. I thought a geographical change would do the trick. So I moved there, stopped doing cocaine, still drank heavily because I thought I had a drug problem, and I fell in love with crystal meth. So that led to getting arrested, 6 felonies. God's been picking me up all my life. I happen to work for somebody who's marrying a judge's daughter. It was put in his courtroom. I received 3 years of probation for misdemeanor, no felonies. So that geographical change just didn't do it for me. And I ended up leaving there in 2000 with my tail between my legs. I think I weighed 91 pounds at that point. So I moved another geographical change to upstate New York, to Ballston Lake. And I stopped the drugs, but I found the drugs. It didn't take long. Drinking was every day after work, the same. It was so repetitious. They say things are habitual. They are habitual, especially addictions. It's what I became. I lived for the drink, I lived to get high, and I managed to maintain a job. Where it really fell off was my mom. I was in jail, a felony arrest, DWI. I did 8 months. I lost the privileges of being a parent to my son. I lost my family's respect. I lost my own respect. Didn't see my son for the entire 8 months that I was in the county jail. And even all that time, I planned the night I was going to get out. I drank heavily the night I get out. Well, that went on for a couple more months. My uncle had died when I was in jail. Thank to God, I was able to be there for my mom. He raised my mom, he raised me. And my mom was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer with 0% of surviving this, even with operations. It was terminal. Couldn't give her a length of time. And I drank even more heavy. But during that last summer with my mom, even though my head was in the clouds, I'd have some clarity, and we went over all the things in life from my perspective and hers, and came to a much better understanding with each other and made peace. I was fortunate enough to be a blessing to her, and I stayed with her in hospice. And I stayed with her till the end, where the nurses told me to leave. She wouldn't die. She wouldn't give up after weeks of no fluids. She passed away. Went to her funeral, played the good son, thanked everybody for what they did, eulogized my mom, and I just fell apart. I drank more than I have ever drank before in my life, ever. It was 24/7. I would wake up in the middle of the night, have a big glass of vodka and Mountain Dew, till I passed out again. Wake up in the morning, the same thing, going to work. Well, that landed me in a high-speed police chase, which ended in me going over a snowbank at 50 miles an hour, hitting an innocent person, ending up hitting a tree in Collins Park, probably 12 feet up in the tree, coming to rest, getting out of the car, all bloodied, and trying to run away, and physically restraining a female sheriff. And I was arrested and I went to jail. And when I was in there for those 2 days, I decided that was enough. That's where I needed to stop.
Just tell me how it is since you've been sober.
Well, I tried to stop after that moment. And it took 3 months of trying to stop on my own. I couldn't put 3 days together. I went to Spark, outpatient. I really struggled there. It wasn't for me. I wasn't like those people. I denied a lot of things, and it wasn't strict enough. So I'd start going there drunk. I begged for another program. They put me in McPike in Utica, New York. The best thing that ever happened. I was there for 10 days, Dean, and I had a spiritual awakening, as they put it in 12-step meetings. And I found my conscious contact with something that was way bigger than me, which I choose to call God. And since that 10th day, I've woken up sober. It's now almost 2.5 years. My life has changed in so many ways, Dean. I'm a responsible, rational individual today. I have my son back in my life, which I haven't had him for years. This is a picture of my son and I, Father's Day, walking hand in hand at the Father's Day car show in Scotia. And we were so fortunate not even to be there and be together, and my son to have a positive role model in his life. But someone from the paper, we stood out enough for them to take our picture. And let me tell you, that is what life is about. It's not about the small stuff and drama and arguing with his mother, cursing at people, being short-tempered. It's about growing up and taking responsibility for all of my actions. And that means at the end of the day, I take an inventory of who could I have been nicer to? Could I have done this situation a little bit different? I got into a 12-step program, AA. I have a home group. I regularly attend. Through being so blessed with